Hello, welcome to the workbench. What you can see there in front of you is a very old model made by Bachmann of the Ivert Class 2MT 262 Prairie tank locomotive. And this is going to be my most ambitious DCC conversion to date, because this is a split chassis Bachmann model, and they say you can't put a DCC decoder in one of those. Well, we'll see as the video progresses. It might all be another disaster movie. Let's find out. Well, we've got to take it all apart, obviously. 2 screws here. Lid off. Look after your screws carefully. I think we'll need to remove the front bogie. I'm not so convinced about removing the rear one. That's all part and parcel of the assembly. So, screw there and there. Now this should just pop off, but it's proving to be, I think I will take that. This should just pop off now, but it's not. Can need a bit of extra persuasion. Oof. Well, that was a bit obstreperous, wasn't it? Situation was, we've got these little beveled clippy retainer things here. Well, it's in good condition, isn't it? One of the criticisms you get of these is that the axles are worn, but these are all right. Well, now for what I'm guessing is going to be the hardest bit. You have to ever so gently persuade this bit of plastic to come out of its little retaining hole like that. Well, I've already done the one on the other side, and then the theory is wheels come off. Wheels and conrods all in one. Now to try to split the chassis. We're doing all this to get the motor out, because what the whole idea of the process is to to electrically insulate the motor from the split chassis, because at the moment the motor picks up the current from the chassis, which is in contact with the wheels, which is in contact with the track. We have to break that contact to electrically insulate the wires that go to the motor from the wires that go to the track. That just clips off. So now you can see the contact between the motor terminal and the chassis. That's what we've got to get into and break. Well, electronically break. I'm not going to do any damage, I hope. Okay, there we are. Motor out. So these two terminals, which at the moment contact the chassis, must not electronically touch the chassis. So we're going to solder some wires on here and cover them with shrink wrap and put the motor back. We then want a wire from each chassis half to the DCC decoder. Well, I've ended the destruction phase, now the construction. So very thin wire of the 4 colours we need, the decoder, the motor, which is going to need some soldering on the terminals, shrink wrap, and this little 4-pin plug. There won't be room, let me just show you. There's just room for it to sit in the cab. Just about room. Sit on the floor, no one will ever see it. But we'll have to use a different connector here. I'm not going to use the 8-pin connector. I'm going to use this adapted one. We only need the 4 wires. The grey and the orange go to the motor, the red and the black go to the track. Now a bit of luck here. Now you might have watched my previous 2 videos about doing this split chassis conversion, and I had to drill into the chassis with a 2mm drill to put a 2mm self-tapping screw to hold the wire. But look, there is already, because this front wheel has a wire, there's a wire that attaches to the chassis, so that bit of copper there is electrically attached to the chassis, so I can simply solder a wire onto that and run it down the back here to this 4-pin connector. So I'm going to do a bit of soldering of wires, and then I'll put the video back on again. Well, several hours have passed away. As you can tell, it's gone dark, but I've persevered. You need to be very patient putting these things back together. You certainly do. You need a steady hand, a steady eye, and steady patience. Anyway, I've wired up as I said, so with the grey and the orange go into the motor and the black and the red go into the track. So what I've done for the moment, temporarily, I've connected one motor terminal to one track terminal and the other motor terminal to the other track terminal. That's just temporary, to check it works before I start involving any decoders. Now if you're worried about which way round to put your grey and orange and which way round to put your red and black, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you don't confuse the motor leads with the track leads. But if you get them the wrong way round and you put it on the track when it's all connected up to DCC and you click forwards but it goes backwards, not a problem. You go to CV number 29 and if it's an even number you add on 1 and if it's an odd number you take off 1. I think that's how it works. And then you'll find everything is tickety-boo. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this onto DC and see what happens. Well, it's the standard DC controller I've got here. That looks alright, doesn't it? Time for the decoder, I guess.